here representing the Driftwood.
Okay.
Can I get it?
Did he give you the thumb?
Huh?
Did he give you the thumb?
No, he's around back.
Mark Peterson.
So I wanted to make sure we have this, this is the cover memo,
Okay.
and that was on the website, and the rest of the documents weren't, they were, this is the document that Code created, and there's some other, there's a notice of violation.
He was sitting in there waiting away,
So I just wanted to,
waiting.
May 27th, okay.
yeah, that's what they would like me to do.
Yeah. We've actually discussed the actual mechanical tools that we're going to
So does
use.
that mean it's going to be,
I'm on
Thanks for
board,
coming.
man.
thanks for coming.
All right, I think we're ready to get going here. Harpswell Select Board meeting of Thursday, August 27th. We'll start with Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okey-doke. Adoption of the agenda. We got one addition at the end.
Added under other business.
Other business.
Could you just, yeah, you're adding that, thank you.
Yep,
Okay, great,
yep. Other
Do as
other
we're
business.
told.
thanks.
Public comment? Oh, what? That's right. Yeah, go ahead, Gary. You're up first.
I'll be quick. Just a follow-up question from the July 29th meeting. Has the town received the minutes for the Harpswell Community Broadcast Board meetings?
No?
They haven't been approved yet.
The meetings for, the minutes for prior meetings?
What?
The request was to provide minutes for prior meetings?
The minutes have not been approved yet. Until they are, they're not official. So we're planning on, that's on the agenda for our next meeting, the second, coming up in this coming month, so our next meeting. You'll get them as soon as they're ready, Gary, don't worry.
Okay, yeah, it just seems that the request has been out there for several years, and it seems to never come to fruition. It's kind of hard to understand how many meetings are happening, what the subjects are. The station manager mentioned they don't happen hardly at all. There's nothing really to deal with. So I'm just trying to reconcile where that goes to, in February, you're updating my mental status and also updating the fact that you're pursuing additional means of raising money. And then we hear a story in July that you're pursuing different means of raising money. And we're not compliant to any of the nonprofit organization guidelines for the town. So other than that, there's not much going on. It would just seem that we should, after a decade, be answering the basic questions about what services the town's getting. And I guess I look for the rest of the board to fill that fiduciary responsibility to do that, particularly before we re-up for another 5 years of what could be provided for very low expenses via the Facebook and YouTube channels for the that the town has. Thanks.
Thanks, Gary.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Richard Lee. My home is at 39 Hugh Avenue. I came here last year in August and thanked you because you cleared out what I'd like to call the junk pile at 7 Hugh Avenue. And I came here for two reasons tonight. One, to thank the fire department and the crew. On January 23rd of this year, they saved 5 Hugh Avenue, desperately close to 7 Hugh Avenue as it was burning down. Magnificent. They're good friends, and I'd like to make sure that they're appreciated for what they did. Second is I'm trying to sort out the debris that's left from the fire. Spent some time trying to follow the process as to what happens. First of all, got to figure out who owns it. It's been, at least through my research, it appears as if Shania Richardson is still the owner. lots of different things. Probate, back in 2019, apparently identified a personal representative. I'm not sure that's a person you guys can talk to. As well, Fannie Mae apparently just refiled January 30th of this year a list pendants. So at least we're in the process of a foreclosure by the bank. But in the process, I'm just asking you guys, is there a timeline, a process? Where are you guys in solving this issue?
Could I address you? I'm Tony Simmons with the Code Office, and we have just permitted a cleanup for that. Yesterday, I believe, the bank has hired somebody, engaged a company to come and clean up the mess there, finally. It's been a long haul getting somebody to deal with it. Banks don't like to spend money on things like that, but they're on their way.
Well, I'd like to say, praise the Lord.
Yes, I don't know how
Yeah.
soon they're planning on getting started, but we have just permitted the what they call demolition. I said the demolition's pretty much done. It's just cleaning up, so.
Well, I feel blessed.
Well,
Don't don't count your blessings till you
Yeah.
see the shovel
Uh,
show up.
That's amazing progress towards the solution, so I come with another thank you. So,
Yeah, yeah. But we should stay on top of that, because DEP condemned the property anyway, so once it's cleaned up, we want to make sure that no tents, anything goes on that property,
Yeah.
because it'll happen.
you need trespassing signs. So I'm not telling them
Yeah.
what to do, but they're on the property all the time.
Oh, I know. But I think we just have it condemned and, 'cause DEP's already been there, and they said, not inhabitable.
Yeah. Thank you. God bless you.
That's not why I'm here tonight, but I live on Bailey Island, and I would tell you, you've got my full-throated support for condemning that one and getting it all cleaned up. That's a disaster, and I'm happy for you. Pete Nickett is from Bailey Island. Thanks very much for the opportunity to participate in public comment tonight. I had a couple observations.
You don't have to email us, tell us you're coming,
I just figured it was a matter of courtesy in case you wanted to leave town or something. Okay.
Lock the doors.
So you could lock the doors.
One can only
That's an option. I just watched the FRPC meeting this afternoon that took place, I think, at probably 3 o'clock or 2 or 3 o'clock. And my first comment is around the YouTube channel that the town has. The fact that the town records all these meetings and archives them on the website and puts them in a YouTube channel signals to people who live here a tremendous commitment that you folks have on transparency. It's a huge step forward, and it feeds directly into, obviously, public trust and public confidence, and everything that we do hangs by that one thread here. None of this is being done for fame and fortune. So the armchair quarterbacks in town should be aware of that and acknowledge that and grateful for that. That's the good news around the YouTube channel. Now, the FRPC, something else happened there today that really, really surprised me. They're talking about how are we going to move forward with this transition from, all volunteer to all municipal, and how will we get through this spirit of cooperation? And there was some talk about possibly bringing in a facilitator to help them manage workflow, which I also thought was a sign of a well-managed organization. It may have been what some people were asking for when we started talking about the central building, and that's why I was so surprised, because that wasn't a very popular suggestion back then, but FRPC seems to be considering it very credibly, and I think that's fantastic. Now, little comment on the YouTube channel, and this is where it gets a little bit uncomfortable. That's live TV. There's no editing out bloopers. And there was a blooper at the last select board meeting when we talked about Frank Trube going from interim to full-time, which everyone understands is a blessing. The comment was made about, maybe Frank had offered $20 for a vote. Number one, that never happened. It was said at a public meeting by an elected official, and it was just a joke, but that's not the point. That never happened.
It's true. Never
Number two, you know, all we've got here is public trust. And you guys work very, very hard at this, day in and day out, and it's obvious to all of us, I understand. If it sounds like a lecture, it means you're paying attention, because I think it is a little bit of a lecture. That public trust goes away just like that. And if you consider the situation that we're in right now around the new building, we're a town divided. You look at the vote, not everyone thought it was a slam dunk, right? So we've got a little bit of a division there. The folks who may not have been as excited about it are saying, well, we're over budget, we're behind schedule, we may have to downsize from what we approved. The budget that no one wanted to talk about is starting to escape. That's going to be a chore for you, Kevin, right? I mean, the line item for that thing when it gets going is probably going to be around $1 million. This is very, very serious stuff. So people who are concerned about it are apt to say, how did we get here? And, you know, it's not right to put yourself or the board in a position where people will look for a scapegoat. And an offhanded comment that I feel was very disrespectful to Mr. True, very disrespectful to voters, very disrespectful to other folks on the select board who are working so hard to maintain public trust. I think it rises to the level of requiring some type of a response. We can't lose public confidence right now, not over this. It's way too expensive. Not wanting to be the guy that always shows up with the criticism, there are avenues available to all of us, right? Maine Municipal Association has a symposium, you can go live or Zoom, September 29th, that's designed specifically for newly elected people, select board people, as well as seasoned people who might be looking for a little bit of a tune-up, and they talk about what's expected, conduct, you know, judgment, so on and so forth. So maybe that's something you'd like to avail yourself of. Way too much work has been done by this town to do really, really good things. To see any of that kind of, we have to be careful about those comments. Thank you.
Anybody else? Nope. Select board announcements.
Nothing at all.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Oh, wow.
Look at us. Town administrator.
Moving right along. I just want to let everyone know that the 2026 tax bills have been mailed. They went out on Tuesday from, I believe, Falmouth, Maine is where they entered the postal system. They are online. They've been online since Friday. You can go to our website, go to the tax office, and you can see everyone's tax bill. Since Thursday, I stand corrected. Thank you, Terry, for helping with that project. If you have any trouble finding it on the website, you can call the tax office and they can pull up the information and they can help you. You can pay online, you can come in person, there's various ways to pay. So we just want to remind people that information is out. If you believe that you are still incorrectly assessed, there is an opportunity under Maine law for anyone to apply for an abatement. I would encourage people to contact the assessing department first to ask your questions and then decide whether or not you want to go through the formal procedure and paperwork. So that is an opportunity that still exists for people who believe their assessed values are incorrect. Let's see. I do want to mention that the RFP for fixing the back wall of the salt shed has gone out. So it will be on our website. We've been in touch with some contractors who have expressed an interest possibly in fixing it. So if someone's out there and thinks they're interested in the job, check out our website. The repair needs to be done by October 30th, and any contractor would have to have general liability insurance if they plan to bid on this project. So we're hoping we get some competitive bids on this one. I also want to mention the harbor master has been talking about storage issues, not having potentially enough space to store various items, not necessarily the boat, because I believe we've taken care of the boat for the winter, but other, buoys, ropes, various items. One of the areas being considered is the Marine Business District at Mitchell Field. So I didn't want the select board to be surprised if you heard about this, but it's very likely she may start the discussion with potentially the Mitchell Field Committee. And before anything is finalized, it would come back to the Select Board. I also believe that our town ordinance requires any use of the Marine Business District to go to the Planning Board. So there would be a process, and just kind of giving you a heads up that that's one area being explored.
I was gonna reach out to Chuck also. I put the town boat trailer way off to the side, and it looked like a good spot to store buoys, so.
Oh,
I just
okay,
hadn't got
so
around
that
to it.
might be another area
I-
for
He
exploration.
didn't complain about where I put the trailer, so I
Okay.
assumed it's a pretty good spot.
Great,
Yeah, well, I think we run the risk of people maybe seeing them and thinking them, they're dump and them disappearing up there. No, not with any ill intention, you know.
The regulars have pretty small cars. I know what you're thinking, but it can be roped off. Nothing gets by Pete.
I think we should, I do think it's an issue that we should address sooner than later, because we're coming to that time of year when that stuff is gonna start getting moved, and we're gonna need a place for it.
Yep,
okay.
all right.
And then just a couple of quick operational items. We are going to be trying a new cleaning service here at the town office. It's a trial period, so we're going to see how that goes. And we also are bringing in updated phones for our employees. It's the same company that we currently have our phones with, but they are updated versions. Everyone eventually will get their own number. So once you are dealing with a specific individual or office, you'll have a direct line that you can call to get that person. There'll be a lot of other bells and whistles with the new system, but we have been experiencing a lot of issues with voicemail, and people have become very frustrated that they can't necessarily leave a voicemail with an individual. Our system says it's full, and it won't take any more information. So anyway, I think these are positive developments, and we will report back to the board on how those work out. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Consent agenda.
I
One
move
of
the
you.
consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes, the resignation from the planning board, and the authorization of the warrants.
Second.
All in favor?
Could you mention the planning board member, because people have been asking?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Christine Donovan Hall.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service too, Christine.
We still have her on the fire department board. Wharf applications. You're up, Tony. All right, you're up, Kelly.
Somebody.
You two arguing over there?
Drawing lots to see who gets it. Do you want them both at once? Do you have one first?
I think we can do both at once. I don't think there's any problems with either one of them,
Okay.
my point of view.
Tony Simmons with Code Office, once again. The first one we have before us is 9 Bunchberry Lane, Nicolic. This is new residential wharf. Was this yours, Norman? I've lost my thing, but it's in a area, it was a pretty steep bank. They have 16 feet of riprap going in to protect the bank where the wharf is going to be. It's showing some heavy signs of erosion. So that will be good. The wharf is quite long. Do you have the length offhand,
Oh.
Kelly?
We have it here somewhere.
I got it. Yeah,
The
we want
ramp,
to know the
the
length.
ramp
The
is
pier
42
is
feet.
16 feet, the ramp is 42, and then the float is 10 by 16.
Yes, sir. We have good property line setbacks on the wharf. I believe, really, if you guys have any questions, direct, we don't see any issues with it. We're 28 feet off the east property line and 200 or better off of the west.
How, any idea how long they have water access? Because it looks like the low water line is 1,700 feet away, and even at high
They
tide.
are only gonna be about half tide access, I believe. So if they take off in their kayak and don't get back in time, I think they're gonna be walking.
Yeah. If it was a harvesting area, Darcy would have picked up on that.
Yeah.
Actually, this one, I was looking at the wrong one. This has got a long ramp and a short dock. The one next door is quite long. So, yeah,
It's not a harvesting area, but there will never be a harvesting area now, you know?
No.
I think it's something, I don't have any issues with it, but I think it's something that we should begin to look at in the future, you know? Like permitting docks that at least have water access
Yeah.
for the majority of the tide or something like that. And there's no issues with it now, like I said, I think it's something to discuss in the future.
No.
yeah, we haven't talked to anybody, but the neighbors say they haven't seen anybody digging
No.
in that area for years.
Just to the west, they do.
Yeah.
All right, you good with that one, David?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to note, Tony, thank you for saying that
Yeah.
it has a shoreline stabilization project. I just want to make sure that when you brought that up, it may sound like it's part of the select board's review. And I want to reiterate what I have over past years, is that the select board's review and approval is for, under the Wharves and Weirs Act. And so you are not authorizing the riprap in any way. That has to go through, its own permitting and through codes. And that's just just to follow up on your
Okay.
comment. Thank you.
That's all I have, unless you have some questions on it.
Nope. Move on to the next one.
The next one is 35 Laurel Shore Drive for Mr. Ford. They are proposing to build a dock into, these are ones, into the flats. Another one that we don't really have any problem with. I'm trying to get all my, again, we're all within our property line setbacks. There is a wharf
You're right near business.
quite next to
Yeah,
it.
it's next to him. Right next to it. This is
Trying to find all my notes.
north, the next one north.
There will be minimal vegetation disturbance. There you go, thank you, Kelly.
Just timber pin to ledge, ramp and float. No pier for
Thank
this one.
40-foot ramp, 10 by 20 float. The flats are pretty solid and not muddy there. It's rockweed and ledge mostly.
Maybe.
You good? I think we're good on both of them.
Okay, thank you, Kelly.
I'll move to approve the application as the harbor master indicates. There's no hazard to navigation, no injury rights to others in relation to fishing, hauling, or navigating.
Second.
No discussion. All in favor?
Thank you.
Okey-doke. Ordinance amendment regarding docks and subdivisions. That would be Margaret.
Hi, everybody. I am Margaret McIntyre, the town planner. I wrote you a little bit of a memo tonight to talk about the planning board process. We did have some draft ordinance amendments set forth based on discussions that we had had earlier, starting, I think, in February with Kristen Collins coming to the select board. The planning board reviewed these draft amendments, once on their own, once in conjunction with a public hearing, and there was a lot of comments about it. The planning board ultimately voted, I can't remember if they voted or not, but their consensus was that this needs a little more time to be developed, a little better thought through, and we should wait till March and aim for town meeting for some doc amendments. But you guys all kind of started this process, so I wanted to get your feedback to figure out, do we want to try to get it on the November ballot? Because we'd have to have a special meeting next week. We have about 1 week left to put it up for a vote in November.
What's the planning board feeling? That they want it on the November ballot? Or-
No, definitely
they want
not.
They want it on town meeting.
They want it in March.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, they think it needs more work and they don't want to rush it.
I'm fine with that.
And I agree with that, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. If you guys have any more direction or input, we're happy to listen.
Good
Thank
luck
you.
with that.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking your time and doing it right.
Thanks. I think I'm up again, maybe?
Yes, you are.
Yep.
The
Yep.
next two items.
Oh, that's right.
I'm just going to stand
Letter of
here.
support regarding Midcoast Council of Governments grant application.
The Midcoast Council of Governments, MCOG, is applying for a grant. It is the same grant that the Harbor Master is applying for, but under separate criteria. I guess there's two different sets of criteria, and they're not the same. But their grant is really looking at shoreline stabilization, which is an ordinance amendments and a toolkit for municipalities and a toolkit for homeowners. I've talked to the resiliency coordinator at MCOG a number of times about shoreline stabilization and how I feel like the town needs better regulations around it, but we don't have the technical expertise to get too crazy like the DEP does. So they're going to kind of take on this project, and they asked for a letter of support as well as a minimal amount of staff time if we want to kind of be in on the project with them, which I really would love to do because I think it's important work.
I move that we approve this very well-written letter and that we submit it.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Thanks. And I'll keep you guys up to date on what their progress is with this project that they're doing.
Yep. And application for Greater Portland Council of Governments for Government Planning Fellowship.
GP COG does this project. They're called Resiliency Corps Fellows, I think. It's kind of like AmeriCorps, but they're postgrads. They are doing, working with municipalities on resilience-based projects. It sounds like they can do a lot of functions except grant application writing. It's a really low cost to the town. GP COG does all of the administration of the employee, so, you know, it wouldn't be our employee really. We'd pay a small fee. They'd be here 40 hours a week for 11 months, from the middle of January to the middle of December. And I think that having the two Bowdoin fellows here this summer was really awesome. And they worked on some resiliency work, and then without them, those projects have totally kind of stalled. And this person would kind of take up the drinking water and septic study, and then bring this flood mapping, this future flood risk study kind of over the finish line. And then they'd maybe help with some resiliency-based ordinance amendments and any other projects that come up along the way.
Excellent.
So we would provide $8,000? That sounds right?
That's what it looks like in the
And where's that coming
application.
from?
That would likely come from the planner's budget. We do put some money in there for that
Yeah.
type of assistance. Or
Sounds good.
Generally, it's under contracted assistance.
I like the program, fantastic.
I think it will be cool for me as a office of one to have kind of, instead of a Bowdoin fellow who's here for a couple months, to have somebody here for a full year
Oh, yeah.
and kind of get this feeling of what it will be to have another employee in my office. And maybe we could talk about some staffing changes next year based on our experience.
Well, 'Cause years ago, there was an assistant to the planner.
Yes, a full-time assistant to the planner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm the assistant and the planner.
I move that we support the letter of support,
That we apply.
yeah, that we apply.
All right, I'll second that.
Yeah. All in favor?
All right,
Great
thank you
job.
very much.
Thank you, Margaret. When will we know the results of this fellowship application?
I don't know the answer
Oh,
to that. I
okay.
can't, Julia Brule, who works for GP Cog, we met with her and I can't, if she told us, I can't remember the
Yeah, I
answer.
don't remember either. Okay, great.
All right. Driftwood alcohol renewal license. You know, might be a good place to start.
Be honest with you folks, I just found out a couple of weeks ago that we didn't have our alcohol license for the year. Started digging into it a little bit. Mr. Conrad elected me to come speak to you guys today. I found out this yesterday. And now I just find out by looking at the information that Christie gave me, why exactly we don't have our alcohol license. My name is Mark Peterson. I'm from down south, Scarborough. The place in Florida, I'm working my way back, and I'm living there at the Driftwood and working several hats at the same time. And it looks like I'm going to be the liaison between us and them. Just yesterday, we was crawling around underneath the building that we want to lift. We was looking at beams at this girl that had just come back with us to what we're going to do. I suggested some old friends of mine that were house movers. And if you know Mr. Conrad at all, he just, we're just going to do it. So my suggestion is now that I'm kind of on board, I'm a little bit more pragmatic, shall we say, about the whole affair. I get in touch with you folks through email and talk to the people that we have to get down there, make another Plan B, so to speak, because we're on board. We want to do it. We don't have a problem doing it. It's just, it hasn't been done, that's all.
Well,
There's a lot of stuff to be done there, to be honest with you. And questions?
plenty. 2 weeks ago, I went down to David.
Yep.
We had a deal.
Okay.
He raises the building a foot, and he has till next Memorial Day to do it.
Yes.
And we will give him his liquor license.
Okay.
He said yes, he agreed to it. Then he comes in the next day and said, no, I'm not gonna do it. See, what are we supposed to do with that?
I
You
understand.
know, I've helped him for the last 2 years.
Yep.
On every little project down there. He gets it his own way.
Yep.
And, you know, there's a couple other things he had to change that codes found out that had to do with his overboard discharge. He fixed those finally.
Okay.
Has all these little projects he puts off, and then you come to us today that he's all happy about raising the thing.
Well, I may be selling the project a little bit, but we've realized that it's not gonna be, we're not gonna talk our way out of it.
No.
He's not gonna talk me into talking our way out of it.
If I could convince these two guys, if he signs the original agreement that the code office came up with, not only that, we have it notarized, that he agrees by Memorial Day.
Yep.
He raised it, we'll give him his liquor license this year. It'll be good to next July.
Yeah.
But he has to agree to it, and it's gotta be, you know, notarized, signed, and ready to go.
Well, what happens if he doesn't do it by Memorial Day then?
Talk start again.
But
Yeah,
then we've given him the liquor
Yeah.
license at that point.
Well, then it'll run out in July, though, and then.
Yeah, but, and then what does he do, sign another agreement?
No, but if he doesn't do it, and then they take civil action.
Just to step in, I just by character, my character, his character, you don't know me from a hole in the ground, but I get the feeling that once we've crossed this threshold, I've saved him on several different, you can imagine what goes on at the Driftwood. There's just bucketfuls of stuff go on. And he started beginning to listen to me, which he's never listened to anyone before, as far as I can see, in his life, never had to. And now we're kind of seeing eye to eye, and I'm hopefully, with a bit of prodding, we've crossed the threshold.
Tim, you want to?
Want to give us 24
Yeah,
hours to get
I was
back
hoping
here?
to hear from codes.
Huh?
There,
But, you know,
All information is good, knowledge is power, whatever you got.
how long have you been trying to get this resolved, Tim?
I think we gave him I know we've got our time frame over there. February was when we gave him the email to say, hey, and he met the two things out of the three. Yeah.
Thanks.
I had Denise put it up for me.
Thank you.
On February 26th, we mailed a letter, an email detailing the outstanding compliance issues. We had an email on February 17th that stating that it was not in compliance. And yes, I agree that if we do the deal, what guarantee we don't? I just felt like it's a good faith. And that's why I wanted it.
Can I add this?
That's why I wanted it
At
in
this
notary,
point-
so that we knew we had something that we all agreed
The gentleman has lost some
on.
money this summer.
Well, I'm,
Probably
everybody,
doesn't want to lose any more money.
I realize that, but that's why I think we were being very generous to say, well, just
Oh,
get
you
it
were.
done at some time, and let's work together.
Right.
And that's all. I
Yeah.
felt, if
Good
you.
faith.
Right.
Yeah.
If you took the time to raise it the first time, to get it out after it got pushed off of the storm, and now all we're saying is, well, you're only a foot short. Let's do the whole thing. And, you
You know
know,
Mr. Conrad,
oh, yeah,
he's prickly,
oh, yeah.
he's abrasive. We've had our go-arounds, him and I, in the kitchen cooking breakfast.
Move closer to the microphone, would you?
I'm sorry.
Move a little closer to the
Oh,
mic.
I'm sorry, yeah. And yes, it's a challenge. I concede. All I can say is, give me 24 hours to talk to the man. Kick him in the butt a bit. Get back to you.
We'll,
Well, I'm only afraid that Kevin has such a good rapport with him, and we had one answer on one
Oh,
day,
well-
and then it took back the other.
Yep.
That's why we want it notarized.
Yep.
Or
Okay,
a
yep.
deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So that we can all say, yes, we
Oh.
agreed on this day.
I understand. My wife's a notary, actually. She's
No,
in
that-
Florida.
Well,
That's a
it's-
conflict of interest.
Or no, I'm saying,
it
she's.
sounds like one, didn't it?
You know what it's
She's
all about.
1,600 miles from here, so that wouldn't make, but I
No.
understand.
All right,
That's all we're
And
saying.
it's not a hard thing to do.
let's kick it down the road 2 weeks.
There you go.
Okay.
Get everything done, and,
All right.
and if codes is satisfied, then we should be.
Yeah.
David?
So, your name, sir?
Tim,
Tim Mark,
Mark, nice to meet
and
you.
so we'll probably be in contact with
I am
one
sure.
another.
Or
Okay,
Tony, one of the two.
yeah,
One of you.
yeah. The man likes to cook his
They
meals.
don't have a
He's
liquor
doing that
license
right now as we
now,
speak.
correct?
No.
I don't do
It
dinners,
ran
so
out
there.
in July.
Yeah.
Other questions? Should we just let it go to 2 weeks and get back together again, see how it goes?
Well, don't wait 2 weeks.
Some things have to be
Oh,
done.
Well, it has to, I mean, the only other way would be if you make a motion tonight that allows it to be approved conditionally upon this document being
No.
signed. Okay, then we've got to wait
I'm
for
not
another
making that
meeting.
motion.
We've got
Right,
to,
yeah.
we've got to wait for another meeting.
No,
I'd like to see some progress made between now and then.
I'm with you on this.
I'm with you guys too on that. We're at the end of the season, so,
Yeah, you already got me once, now you're gonna get me twice.
There you go.
yeah, well, what I'm saying is we've already, the season's pretty much gone, so as long as we're on the same page, we're copacetic with each other from this point on.
Yeah, and to make it clear, I do eat there.
Very good.
I don't let him know I'm there.
I'm a man, 40 years, that's funny. I have 40 years in the chef community. I was retired. He talked me into coming back in.
Oh, there you go.
It had been decades since I put food on a plate.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
So we will
Thank
put
you.
this back on the agenda in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
Correct? Okay.
the Driftwood will be getting an email from you folks?
Nope.
I will send an email saying it's going to be on in 2 weeks. And I would encourage you or Mr. Conrad to talk with the code office and see if you can work this out, so you can present something that evening, if not sooner.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely.
But it's gotta be a decision, a public meeting.
Yeah. All righty. Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. I didn't realize I was the only one not wearing a hat.
All right. Consider shoreline stabilization on Steamboat Road's public pedestrian access. Do you want this, Terry?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, just to provide a brief history, in 2005, after a legal issue came up about the ownership, the town's right to access Casco Bay, particularly Lowell's Cove on Bailey Island off of Steamboat Road. After a time period in 2005, a settlement was reached with the abutters on both sides on where the town had said it had the access. And a settlement was agreed upon that essentially put in writing that the town has an 8-foot wide pedestrian easement from Steamboat Road down to Lowell's Cove on Bailey Island. And generally speaking, that 8-foot wide pedestrian easement is comprised on 4 feet from one abutter and 4 feet from the abutter on the other side. And that was the settlement that was reached. The property owners on one side, the 2377, the town's lot is 2376, and the owners on map 2377, the Stebbins, codes had issued a permit for them to do shoreline stabilization. They actually own other abutting lots as well. So on multiple lots. And after they had been issued that permit, with very much appreciation to the Stebbins for this, they reached out to staff about wanting to confirm and clarify the town's definition of pedestrian easement, and they wanted to work with the town staff on how their project would not interfere with the town's public easement. That, in researching that, the permit that was issued has some work done on the other abutters lot as well, so on the town's pedestrian easement and the other abutters lot. So the Stebbins has reached out to the other abutters, the Parsiacs, who have agreed to allow the work to take place on their lot. And in coming up with a solution to make sure that they can stabilize the shore, they've actually proposed making a safer access for our pedestrian usage down to Lowell's Cove. In their stabilization project, they would add a 3-foot wide pass through the shoreline stabilization wall in order to allow for pedestrian access to the shoreline, 3-foot wide cast in place concrete stair anchored to the ledge. And so there's history here, and I wanted to make sure the select board, the Stebbins are waiting for, they've done everything that I've asked them to do, and we want to make sure that the select board feels that that is protecting the pedestrian access while at the same time protecting the shore, the shoreline, which did suffer quite a bit of damage after the January 2024 storms. And you've all seen the proposed plan, and do you have any questions about any of that history or where we're at?
I knew of it.
Yeah, because I'm looking this over, and I see you want us to authorize the revised plan, and the whole time I was looking, it's revised from what? And
You don't necessarily have to say revised plan. They revised it because that was one of the plans that was submitted to the codes office for their permit, which you, of course, were not part of that permit process, but you can just identify and say, if the board so finds appropriate to, that you are, find that the Stebbins proposal with the stair, the opening to be satisfactory to the town's public pedestrian easement.
right, I do find that, so I move that we accept this.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? See any? All in favor?
Thank you.
All right. Engagement letter for 2026 audit.
Hard to believe that we're talking about this.
We discussed that. It doesn't-
I mean, we are
Seems like we just
in
did it.
Time is flying.
August. However, what Christy and I have both explained to the Budget Advisory Committee last year, when it comes to, there's some increases in costs for auditing municipalities, and it's really due to a lot of the changes, primarily the statements on quality management standards, the SQMs, and we've been with RHR Smith and Company for multiple years now. And actually, a lot of auditing firms have stopped their municipal clients due to a lot of these changes. And one of the things with the SQMs going on is that a lot of the work is done even way before year end. And so they do ask for 75% of the audit fee now, and also this engagement letter. And so while it's hard to believe, they have a very long wait list, and they have to get things in order and their scheduling in order, and that is why that is before you this evening. But Christie and I both recommend that we proceed with RHR Smith and Company for the 2026 audit.
I so move.
I so second.
No discussion? All in favor? Oh. Winter road maintenance contract amendment.
So Terry's having a hard time thinking about the audit. I'm having a hard time thinking about snow. But anyway, we have,
before you know it.
we reached the end of a 3-year agreement with R.A. Weber and Sons. And in that contract, there was a clause that said we could negotiate a 2-year extension. The town meeting had authorized you to do up to a 5-year contract, I believe. So that's how we structured it. Recently, the chair, Kevin Johnson, and myself met with Dwayne Weber, who was representing the company. There was a little negotiation, but I have to say, they were holding pretty tight to their proposal to the town, and they felt adamant that they needed a 10% hike in the coming year, that the cost of fuel, personnel,
Yeah.
benefits, et cetera, were just rising, and that they had felt that this was within a reasonable range for them. And
It
so
almost
then,
seems like 10% wouldn't be enough.
well, and then in the second year, we were able to negotiate that number down, and we got to 4%. So at this point, I do believe the company has done an excellent job for the town of Harpswell. They're very familiar with what our requirements are. We get a lot of compliments about the job that they do, and I would recommend moving forward with this 2-year contract extension.
My only question is, why are we removing the option to negotiate, just because?
Oh, so that's a good question, because that,
It's the end,
we feel like the 10% covers the fuel cost.
Yeah,
And then there was this option to negotiate if the price of fuel went over, was it $4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just both decided, okay, if you're gonna get 10%, we're not gonna, if
It's the-
fuel goes up to 5 or 6 or whatever, and if it goes down, obviously, we don't get the benefit of
Right.
that, but we just, both of us decided that, okay, let's just
Yeah.
cut that out.
that's fine, I
Um,
just wanted some
But it
clarification,
was
thank you.
a
He
good
didn't put up a
question.
fight.
Yeah,
So,
I'm fine
so
with it.
essentially, we added a dry hydrant area, the
Yeah, I
new
saw
one,
that.
Bethel
That was
Point,
new.
the change in pricing, and then that
Yep.
option was removed.
You,
I move that we go with R.A. Weber for 2 more years, a 2-year extension.
I will second it.
Don't see any discussion, all in favor? Back to public comment. Public comment, Frank. No, go right.
Frank, you
All right, go ahead, it's all you.
Are you kidding?
Yeah,
Yes.
I hadn't had a chance to publicly thank you guys for appointing me as the full-time fire administrator. I hope you guys got my email that I had sent to you.
We
but,
did. Brought me to tears.
But I did want to say thank you, and, I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to serve the community. And, again, I appreciate the trust that you've put in me, and that's all. I just
Well,
wanted to step up and say
frankly, we couldn't think of anyone better for the job. And I want to apologize for the levity that I added. I was hoping that you'd be here that night so I could joke with you about it, but that's saying that you offered me $20. Of course you didn't, but, and you and I have kidded with each other for years, but,
Sure, yeah.
I was hoping that you'd be here that night, but But I can't imagine anyone better for this job than you.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yep, and thanks for 2.5 hours today of pure fun here. How you managed to get those minutes, I have no idea. Even just sitting there, I go, what the hell we just talk about? The fire department, you just kind of go around in a
Thank you.
circle. Thanks, Frank. All right, other business. Back
So
to
this
back to
item
members.
came from the road commissioner. There has been an issue with a culvert on Lehman Road, and he is proposing that the town sole source with R.A. Weber for $11,800 to mobilize equipment. They've got to use gravel, some riprap, a 60-foot by 15-inch culvert, tree and stump removal, pavement, compactor equipment, and labor.
It's a little bit more than just a culvert.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
yeah, that's true.
There's a
Yeah,
big tree there coming down.
That's right, a large maple tree on the east shoulder of the road,
Ooh,
grading and
firewood.
riprapping.
No, I move that we do it.
I'll second it.
No discussion, all in favor?
Thank you.
Anything else? I didn't ask after other business, was that it?
That was it.
That was it? All right. In that case, we're adjourned.
Oh, that one.
You know how you moved the ball?